panel that you have on your dashboard. We're going to just do a little test here. If you can hear my voice and it's loud enough, just type in yes or okay in the questions panel, and that would be awesome. Oh, good. We're getting lots of yeses and okays. Cool, cool. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, let's see here. And what we're going to do also is just want to let you know we're recording this webinar. We will send out the playback to everyone. You can share it with anyone. It'll be posted on YouTube, and anybody who wants to watch it can certainly do that. Also, as far as questions go, we will only be taking questions at the end, and there will be plenty of time, so please don't worry. If you have questions, what I'd like you to do is write it down, and we will, or just keep it in your head, and then at the end, what we want to do is take questions. So the other thing you can do is in your questions pane, I just want to make sure that y'all notice you can type in your question at any time, and at the end of the webinar, I will open up my questions list. I'll see all the questions that you guys typed in, and we'll go through them one at a time. There are simply, there's almost 100 people on right now, so there's no way I can open up the audio, but I will answer as many questions as I can possibly get through. So let's get started, because we have a lot to talk about for 2012. So here we go. So we're going to talk about what's happening now and in 2012, generating leads, local search, natural results, and social media for elder care and senior service providers. My name is Valerie Van Boeven. My partner, George Novison, is on the line. Hi, George.
Hi, Valerie. Welcome, everybody.
Hi. Our website is ltcsocialmark.com, and we are going to head down the road here. So for the agenda for today, it looks like a lot of stuff, but I'm going to fly through some of this, so you're definitely going to want to pay attention when you get that replay video, or just take some notes. Feel free to type in your question at any time. So stop the insanity of ineffective online marketing in 2012. What does a lead-generating website really look like? The difference between phone calls and real leads. The only way you should be tracking your return on investment, we show you how. Is pay-per-click worth the expense? Can you really generate exclusive leads, or is it better to go natural, meaning no pay-per-click? Video. How important is video in elder care service marketing in 2012? Facebook, the best way to generate PR leads and fans that make a difference in your bottom line. And LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn to generate more professional referrals. Google Places, are you listed and can you be found? Learn why this one tip can do wonders for your business. Google Plus, Google Places, and Facebook, it's all coming together. Are you ready? And lead nurturing, how to stay top of mind while the prospect continues to do research. Okay, so here we go. We're going to head on down the road here. So let's talk about things that we should stop doing in 2012. And some of you have never done these things, and some of you are doing them currently. And really what I'm trying to say here is if you're not seeing a return on investment, the best thing you can do is not spend money on things that aren't giving you clients. So things to stop doing in 2012, yellow pages. Now that depends on you and your company. Maybe it's online yellow pages that you need to stop, super pages, banner ads. I don't see people, and we talk to people all day long about this stuff, and we don't hear anybody saying to us, oh yes, I get so many leads from the yellow pages and super pages online, and from my banner ads, I know exactly what my return on investment is. Some of you may have a great experience with these, but for the most part, we're not hearing that. So if you're not able to calculate how many clients you got from yellow pages ad, either online or in print, or super pages or banner ads online, stop doing that. Bad websites. Stop having a bad website. It's 2012. Get your website updated and have a good website. I'm going to tell you all about how that looks and works. Print ads that have no return on investment. If you run a print ad consistently and no one ever calls you from it, stop running it. Buying leads that never convert. If you're buying leads and you're not having a good conversion rate on those leads, either, for many, many reasons why you may not be having good conversion rates. There's all kinds of lead companies out there for everybody on this call, from home care to reverse mortgages to assisted living. There's all kinds of folks on this call, and if you're buying leads that never convert, stop buying leads. Letting a company who does not know your industry run your pay-per-click campaign. We've been finding that people are doing this a lot. They're going with somebody who's either local or somebody who's of a nationwide company like ours that does not specialize in the elder care and senior service market, and they're throwing their money out the door. So we're going to talk about that as well. Things you should start doing that are smart marketing in 2012. Update that old website, and I'll show you what that means. Fix your SEO, and if you don't know what that is, I'm going to show you how. Start a marketing program that gives you the following: real leads exclusive to your office, social media that reaches your local market, page 1 results on Google naturally, video, video, video. It's not that hard. It's actually really easy. Content, 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 and everything is tracked and reported. You should be tracking and reporting everything. And you know what? I'm not a numbers person, and I'm not a spreadsheet person, but I work with 2 guys who are, and so I've learned the value of tracking everything. So if I were a home care agency, reverse mortgage specialist, long-term care insurance agent, or assisted living facility, or anything else in the senior market that was doing some online marketing, I would want the company that I chose to track the performance for me so that I didn't have to run numbers, because I'm a terrible numbers person. And so that's what you should look for in somebody who works with you, somebody who will track and report the numbers to you so that you don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to, or you can take their data and compare it to your own. Okay, so right to the heart of things. What does a lead-generating website really look like? And this is a really good look at how a lead-generating website appears. We've used this example before. There are many others that I will show you later, but this is one that has some really good information on it. Keep this in mind anytime you're thinking about redesigning or redoing or restructuring your website. Your calls to action should be extremely visible and really good. So for instance, at the top of this website, my first green arrow way at the top, you can see it says call Rick or Donna, and there's a phone number there. This absolutely should have your phone number visible, really super visible at the top of your website. And then there's another option to click here to talk with a home care expert, and that's actually will take you to a form that you can fill out. And then you have some social media. You can connect with them that way. There's a video that you can watch if you want to. There's a form at the bottom there. On my very last green arrow is a form. And one of the most important things that I think people overlook is a small amount of text on the home page that tells the person looking at the page why they should choose your company. It doesn't have to be a long dissertation, but something friendly and compassionate that tells people why they should choose you to do business with. So right here on the home page, you've given people 4 ways to communicate with you, and one thing to read to tell them. And this is only the top of the home page. This is what people see before they scroll down. So these are all very good calls to action and ways that people can generate. Your website should be generating leads. Pick up the phone and call me, fill out a form. Pick up the phone and call me, or fill out a form, or watch a video if you like. But those are the options that people should have. So that is what a good lead-generating website looks like. A good lead-generating website also has a blog inside of the website. And in this case, we call it the newsroom. So if you look at this page here, this is actually a page of blog posts. You could click on any one of these, and you will see the entire blog. But the content that's in this helps it be found on the internet, and also helps with all those keyword phrases that are so important when you're trying to get your website to the first page of Google. So adding content every single week without fail, or even sometimes every other day, is really what helps change the direction of your website and helps it rank #1 in your local area. You have to win this game on the internet in order for people to be able to find you. A good lead-generating website also has video. And we've always stressed the importance of video, but I can't tell you in this day and age how important it really, really is. And I'm not talking about videos that have to be professionally done, that you have to spend thousands of dollars on, or that have to be 10 minutes in length or a feature film. We're talking about 30 to 45-second videos or less that can be done by anybody who owns a Kodak ZI-8 or a flip camera or anything else, and can be posted on a website. You don't have to be a videographer to have good video on your site. And in this case, this client has all their frequently asked questions. in the form of videos. They also have the text answers along with the video. Okay, so let's talk about phone calls versus real leads. Now, when you have a website that really captures leads, this is an example of a website that naturally captures leads. And this is 90 days, August 1 through November 1st. Now, anybody can tell you that in 90 days they generated 553 calls. The question becomes, how many of them were real leads? And in this case, for this client, and this is a client that, just like with most elder care and senior services, we're not talking about a plumber here. A plumber would want 30 leads a day. But anybody in the senior service market knows that these are big financial and big emotional decisions, so you're not going to get 30 leads a day, probably. So in 90 days, they had 553 calls, and 112 of them were real leads. So that is at least one real lead a day. And that is what's important. That is what this client's website generated. It's not the website I just showed you, but it's one of our other clients. This is what their website generated in leads in 90 days from August 1st to November 1st of 2011. That is what you should be seeing from any of your efforts online. Not just how many calls you got, but how many were real leads. We don't count employment calls. We don't count wrong numbers. We don't count sales calls or any of those other things. Okay, let's talk about tracking your return on investment. I said I would show you how to do this, so I want to just give you, this is very brief. Again, I'm not a numbers person, but I wanted to show you just how you can track your own return on investment for any internet marketing or any marketing plan you have, whether it be print or internet marketing or whatever. So how much are you spending in 30 days on internet marketing? So let's say you know that you're going to spend $1,500 in 1 month on internet marketing. You need to know how many lead forms were filled out, and let's say that you had 15 lead forms filled out. It's how many phone calls that were potential leads. And of all the phone calls that came in, let's say 30 of them were real phone calls from real leads. So you add your forms plus your phone calls, and you divide that by the amount you're spending, and you come up with about $33 per exclusive lead. Now, for most of you out there, I know that sometimes you spend $15 on a lead or $17 on a lead or $13 on a lead, but that's not an exclusive lead. That's a lead that may be going to 4 or 5 other people if you're spending that low amount. When you get up into exclusivity, and I know that folks that are in other senior services like reverse mortgages and long-term care insurance, you all are spending much more than this on exclusive leads. But at $33 per lead, that's not a bad cost for generating a lead, and that's exclusive to you. So if we take that one step further, let's say of the 45 leads that were generated in a month, you close 3. And each of those leads signs up for 16 hours a week. That's 2 8-hour days at $21 per hour. Now this is in regards to home care, which doesn't apply to everybody on the call, but you get my drift. So that would be about $4,032 that from the leads that were generated. So that's how you track your return on investment. But that means that on your end, you have to make sure you know every time the phone rings, and of course your internet provider, your internet marketing provider should help you with this, but you need to know and mark down, however you keep track of it, who it was that called via the internet. And when you do that, then you'll be able to track your return on investment. Okay, so let's talk about pay-per-click, because many folks out there have had some good and some very bad experiences with pay-per-click, because in the past it's been extremely costly and people try to do it themselves, and it becomes a small disaster. So let's talk about what we've learned about pay-per-click. So it's worth it if you consider the following, and I'm very serious about this because we've watched what happens when people do not consider the following, and it becomes unmanageable and doesn't result in anything at all if you don't manage it right. So in my opinion, it must be managed by a person or a team who knows pay-per-click backwards and forwards. So you have to work with folks that actually work with pay-per-click every single day, because this is not, it's a science in and of itself. pay-per-click is, and it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing that you can just shove anybody into and make it work. It must not be managed by a group, in my opinion, like Yodel or ReachLocal, unless you like dumping cash into File 13. And that is because what we have found is when we look into our potential clients' accounts and we see what they're spending and how many phone calls were generated, and if you listen to those calls and you mark those calls as a lead versus employment call versus sales call versus wrong number, what you find out is that they may have had 553 phone calls over 6 months or 5 months or 3 months, but only 2 of them were really leads, and that's just not getting it. And be sure, folks, as I go along here, if you joined us a little late, be sure to type any of your questions into your little questions pane on your control panel, and we will take questions at the end. So the other thing that we've learned about pay-per-click is that your website must enhance the pay-per-click campaign and work with it to increase conversions. So in other words, you can't just use any old website and drive traffic to any old website. What your ad says needs to match what your website says. So if you're giving away something for free, you need to make sure the minute people click on your website or click on that ad, that the first thing they see is that there's something there for free. So you can't just run a pay-per-click campaign and then have it sent to any website just because that's the one you happen to have. You need to match the home page or the landing page of your website to what your ads are going to say. You need to have some similarity there. Not only does Google like that, but the person who clicks through to your website will like that and will be much more likely to be happy with you and pick up that phone and make a call. If you're driving, this is called post-click marketing, meaning after they click on your Google pay-per-click ad, what is it that they're really seeing? What is it that they're really getting? And if you do it right, you will have more conversions, meaning more people will fill out your forms or pick up the phone and make a call. And you must be able to track and calculate conversions and leads, or you must make sure that the company you work with is willing to track and calculate those for you. That is extremely important. So if you're going to spend $500, $600, $700 a month on pay-per-click, you have to make sure you absolutely understand where those clicks are coming from. Did they fill out a form? Did they pick up the phone and make a call? How did it work out? And are they currently a lead? Are they a potential client? Are they going to convert into a client? Those are the things you need to know for sure. Okay. The importance of video in social media and for leads. My little panel is interrupting me here. So here's the real scoop. And this research comes from all different places, but this one quote in particular I liked, and that is, you are 53 times more likely to appear on page 1 of Google search results if you have video on your website. That is absolutely true. We've tested it. We've gone with video, without video, and done all kinds of things, and the reality is you really are much more likely to have good SEO results and to be on the first page of Google with video on your website. More and more research shows that video improves your marketing efforts significantly. Video and email marketing increases click-through rates by 96%. Shoppers who view video at onlineshoes.com are 45% more likely to buy. Press releases that include video components receive 500% increase in views. Now, I gave this presentation recently, and somebody asked me, well, what do you mean? How do you get a video in a press release? Well, we're talking about electronic marketing here, so not in a paper press release, but in a press release that you might upload to prweb.com. If you ever go to one of these PR sites where you actually pay to have your press release distributed, you'll notice that they always now give you the opportunity to upload a video, pictures, a video, and other media. And that is something you should absolutely do. If you have a press release and you can include any kind of video to accompany it, to explain the press release in more detail or just complement it, you should really do that. So video is working more and more to everyone's advantage, and YouTube has won the market. Who didn't know that was coming? And in fact, some people will say that although Google is probably Google is the #1 search engine of all time, YouTube is either a close second or can be considered in some ways the #1 search engine. So, or YouTube, yeah, can be considered #1. So When you're thinking about the importance of video, I cannot stress to you how important it is. And there are ways to do video that doesn't have to be expensive. I mentioned to you earlier this website that has all of their frequently asked questions done not only in text, but also with a short accompanying video that answers the question. That is priceless. Every single video that you do helps your SEO on your page, your search engine optimization. It helps your website show up on page 1 of Google faster. Also, another tip or trick that George mentioned to me not too long ago, it's something he learned, is that it's best to have one video per page. You shouldn't take 10 videos and put them all on, scroll down the list on one page of your website. That's not going to be helpful. You need to have one video per page on your website, and that is really what makes a difference to Google. It will index that page, and it will identify that it is a video. So those are the things that are important. This is what one of those videos looks like when you click on question number 9, what is the difference between in-home care and senior housing options like assisted living? This is what it looks like. There's a video there that they can click on to play, or they can just read the answer underneath the video, and of course there's a call to action with the phone number, the website, and anything else that the person might need. There's an opportunity for them to watch more videos. So this shows up in search engine results nicely, and it helps consumers make decisions about whether or not they want to do business with you. And if you answer their questions and help them do the research that they desperately want to do, then you are going to win that contest. This is a YouTube channel, and this is really important as well. You will notice that here, this is one of our clients' YouTube channels, and they have their, first of all, the name of their channel is Search Engine Optimized, so Home Care Sarasota. And then if you look over on the right-hand side at all of my arrows, you'll notice that they have their videos, they have them divided up by what's called a playlist. So all of their client testimonial videos go under client testimonials. All of their caregiver videos go under caregivers. They have Alzheimer's care videos that go under that section. They have home care videos, in the news videos, and about us. So they have several videos in each section of their YouTube channel, and that is correct. And each of those sections should be search engine optimized in the title and anywhere else you can do that. So this helps people when they come to your YouTube channel decide what they want to look at in what category, sort of like chapters in a book. You get to read what the chapter title is, and you can decide, if you want to go straight to that chapter. So that is what is very helpful, not only for YouTube, but for your searchers and for Google search engine results. Okay, this is another way. Now, some people will do their video, just have a flip camera, and they'll videotape themselves. One of the most important things you can do for yourself when you do videos, make sure you have a microphone. And if you have a flip camera or a Kodak ZI-8, you can buy a little microphone that goes right along with it. You can get them at Amazon for 15 bucks, and it's a lapel mic, and you can just clip it on. Having good audio on your videos is really super important. The audio, if people can't hear you or you sound like you're in a can or a tunnel, it's a turnoff. So make sure you have some good audio. In fact, I almost think the audio is more important than the video in some cases. In this case, what you see here is that we took, this is a very inexpensive way to do video. All we did was we took a blog post that we thought was really good, and we had somebody do a voiceover, meaning they just read the actual blog post, not like a robot, but they had some tone and inflection, and we put that blog post, which really just amounts to the entire blog post itself. It's just a video of the blog post with a voiceover. We put that on their web page underneath the blog, so that someone who's, like, in other words, vision impaired could listen to that blog post. But it also helps with their YouTube channel. It helps with their SEO and all kinds of other things. There's nothing fancy about this video. In fact, most people would find it boring. But on the other hand, it really did help, or does help, with search engine results. And that's what we do for our clients. A lot of times, on top of maybe having some professional video, we do some blog post videos or article videos that help with their search engine optimization and their results. Okay. Social media, what should I be doing and what is important? Now remember, folks, if you just joined us or you were late in joining us, if you have a question, you want to type it into your little control panel there, and at the end of the webinar, I will go back through and answer all of your questions, or for as many as we have time for. So social media, what should I be doing, what's important? Okay, let's talk about Facebook for a second. And that's really what I want to concentrate on Facebook, and we're going to do a little bit on LinkedIn. So understanding the difference between a business page and a personal account is really important. If you don't understand the difference, you might want to go to Facebook under support and look for those answers, because it used to be a year ago, that we had to set up a personal account in order to set up a business page, and that is no longer the case. Business pages can be set up completely separately and without any relationship to a personal account. So that is something that every business should have, is a business page on Facebook. You do not personally have to be involved in Facebook in order to make this happen. You need to have a robust and attractive business page, not one that just has nothing on it, or it's not going to help you if you don't use it. So if you're going to set it up, make it a point to use it. You need to load it with content from your website and your blog posts, pictures, everything you can think of. And then the other thing that you can do is have a promotional campaign. And I'm going to show you some examples of this so you can see how it's going to be important for you to use Facebook coming up if you haven't already tried this. So this is one of our clients, Autumn Grove, and they have a Facebook page. When you land on their Facebook page for the first time, actually they have 5 or 6 of them, you will see a nice, pretty page that has an opportunity for you to sign up to watch their video. They ask you to please like their page. This is a nice example of a Facebook business page that welcomes the person and allows them to participate. Once they have liked the page, then they will be taken straight to the wall from then on. And this is where all the blog posts and all the other things happen. So on this page, we have their blog post from their actual website filtering in automatically to their Facebook business page. Like, for instance, if you look at the second picture over right here on my screen, they're having a toy drive coming up. So we posted, you can't see it here because this is a screenshot, but we posted the flyer about their toy drive and did a little blog post about it. So all of the information that they wanted to post about that toy drive went out to 223 of their fans, who will also spread it on to other folks. So having a robust and good, well-rounded Facebook business page is extremely important, and I would encourage you all to do that. Here is an example of a PR campaign. This is a client who decided that for Veterans Day, he would like to promote and make donation to the Wounded Warriors Project. So we've created this Facebook page specifically for the Wounded Warriors Project and had a press release that went along with it, and it was leading up to Veterans Day. And what he had asked was that if there are Houston families who, with a loved one who was a wounded warrior, they wanted this organization wanted to hear your story, and then they would pick the top 5 stories or so, and they would post or give a donation in their name to the Wounded Warrior Project. So it was a really nice contest, a really thoughtful thing to do. They did get interviewed by the paper because of the press release and the Facebook page. And so this is a very thoughtful and nice thing to do. You could do it around any holiday. You could do it around Veterans Day. You could do it around May is Older Americans Month. So if you look ahead in your calendar, you can plan for some of these events and do some Facebook, custom Facebook pages that are just for specific events. This is the Visiting Nurse Service of New York. Some time ago, they ran a contest, a caregiver contest, and I believe they ran it around National Family Caregivers Month. And they had an inspirational mom, part of the family, and keeping the family together. They had 3 different caregivers and highlighted their stories. And then, inspirational mom, Elizabeth Biondi, won. And I don't remember what she won, but anyway, this is a nice contest, a nice way to get the word out and to do something nice for your community. So this is a PR campaign that worked very well and something that you can do too. Okay, let's talk about LinkedIn, because professionally this is one of my favorites, and I think you could get a lot more use out of it if you knew how to use it. So we're going to talk about generating more professional referrals through LinkedIn. This is what it looks like when you have a LinkedIn account and you open it up, and you come to something similar to Facebook in that this is your home page. This is everybody else's stuff that you're connected with, filtering in here, plus LinkedIn today, top headlines that they think you'll like. If you look at my big yellow arrow there, you're going to see that it's pointing to the word groups. And the reality is on LinkedIn that groups are your friend, and that's where you're going to get professional referrals and make professional connections in your area. So when you log into LinkedIn, the best thing you could do for yourself is to go to that group section and type in something local to you. So for me, it would be the St. Charles Chamber or the St. Charles Rotary or whatever. I want to join online, or the St. Charles LinkedIn Meetup group, or St. Louis, or whatever I can find that's near me. And I want to join those groups because as a local business owner, I want to make sure that I'm connecting with other local business owners, not just healthcare-related people, but business owners of all kinds, so that I can let them know when we're walking in the Alzheimer's Walk. I can know about their events. I can, let them know what we do on a regular basis, the other group members, so that if they have an aging family member, we might be their first point of contact. I can also look for some of those discharge planners and those social workers and the folks that we are not, or home care agencies and assisted living facilities, and everybody wants to get in touch with, but is not unable in big hospital systems to really connect with. If you type in their name here on LinkedIn, chances are you might run across them, and they'd probably be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. And if they're happy to connect with you on LinkedIn, you can start a conversation with them, and sometimes an online connection professionally may result in coffee or lunch or an offline relationship, so that you can go to them or they can come to you when they have a referral or a need. So don't be afraid to use LinkedIn to your advantage. A lot of professionals are on LinkedIn these days. It's sort of like an online resume, and most people just use it for networking. The other thing I want to show you about LinkedIn is that there are other things you should be aware of when you set up your LinkedIn profile. First of all, you need to make sure you have a photo in there. Don't put up a LinkedIn profile with no photo. Also, this is your personal, or it's a professional LinkedIn page. This is not a business page. So don't sign up as Comfort Keepers Ohio or something like that. This is personal. It's personal and professional. So you want to sign up as you. You can always create a company profile after that, but sign up as you and put in as much content as you possibly can. You can see that my arrow all the way on the right-hand side says profile 100% complete. And that means that I went in and filled out my profile, and I have done all that I can possibly do to make it complete. Now, it's probably more, but and the other thing that I put in there was under description about me or my current business, I put stuff in there that is actually search engine optimized. So I didn't just put, owner of LTCEP or co-owner of LTCEP. I actually put in there what I do or what we do for people, so that when Google indexes my profile, it sees that I have some keyword phrases in there. And when somebody types in home care leads, sometimes they may find my personal LinkedIn profile, and that's okay. So this is a great place to connect with others, and you should be using it and using groups to your advantage. Okay, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Google Places. It changes all the time, and if you are not already engaged in Google Places, you need to do some really good spy work and find out what's out there that's listed about you. This is not just about getting leads, but it's also about managing your reputation. You need to know if you have a Google Places listing and what it looks like and what kind of reviews you have on it, if any, because you will be surprised sometimes by what you find there. Sometimes pleasantly surprised and sometimes not so pleasantly surprised. But the first thing you should do is, and I've divided the screen into sort of 3 red boxes. At the top, you see pay-per-click. Now, we talked about pay-per-click already and the advantages of that when it's done professionally and done correctly and leads that you can generate, and that's all good. Pay-per-click is on the top of the screen, and on the right-hand side in that box, that's also pay-per-click. If you don't know what pay-per-click is, that means that these people and these companies paid for their listings to be in this area. They are paying probably quite a bit for their listings to be in this area if it's not being managed correctly. So underneath that, where it says natural-Google Places, in the red box kind of in the bottom middle, that is where you want to show up. So in this case, this is our client who has a location in Katy, Texas. And they're an assisted living facility in Katy. They have actually 7 locations throughout the Houston area, and one of them is Katy. So we want to make sure that our client naturally shows up in the Katy area whenever somebody types in assisted living or senior housing or senior living. We want to make sure their listing shows up. People who get the most calls and the most leads are the folks who show up in this area. The other thing to remember, though, is you want to make sure you go in, and you can see that our client has 2 Google reviews. You better click on that and find out what those reviews say. I've run into some really interesting information over time where competitors have tried to do nasty things to each other and all kinds of stuff, and not just in the healthcare industry, but in other industries. So go on and look at your Google Places listing and find out what those reviews say. Make sure they're positive. If they're not, there are steps you can take to correct that. Although not always successful, you should try to correct it. So the two organizations that are getting the most phone calls and the most leads on this page are the Solana and Autumn Grove, because they are in the very top of the screen. They're right up there in the top in Google Places, and they're getting some good phone calls and leads from that. So that's where you want to be. So here is how you can make sure that your Google Places ad does well for your, not your ad, but your Google Places listing does well for you. First of all, you need to have a website that is search engine optimized. If you don't know what that means, SEO, search engine optimized, means that all the keyword phrases that people would normally type in to find you are on the backside of your website. So if you're a home care agency and you're in Houston, you would want to make sure the words Home Care Houston exist in the data on the backside of your website. If you're an assisted living facility, you would want it to be Assisted Living Houston. So that's search engine optimized. There's a lot more to that. That's the most simplistic description of search engine optimized that I can give you. And then you want to make sure you have no duplicate listings. What has happened is that over years of time, Google Places has changed. So it used to be Google Business Listings, Google Maps, and now Google Places. People forget that they've already set up listings, or you've had several franchise owners or several owners of the business over the years. It's changed hands, and everybody's set up a listing, and nobody can figure out why it never shows up. If you actually type in the name of your business, you will find that there may be 4 or 5 listings for your business. And if that's the case, none of them will show up because Google considers that spam. So you need to go about the process of deleting them all but one. And that can take some time. No keyword stuffing. So what that means is that you don't want to, if your business name is Comfort Keepers, you don't want to have your business name on your Google Places page listed as Home Care St. Louis, Missouri -Comfort Keepers. It should just be the legal name of your company, and that is Comfort Keepers. You should not be keyword stuffing the title. Some people still do it, and some people don't get caught, and some people do. More often than not, you're going to get delisted when you do that. And then I always recommend that folks get professional help. I guarantee you that if you look right now, you type in, whether it's assisted living, home care, long-term care insurance, reverse mortgage loan officer, whatever it is, if you type in a search term that brings up a map in your local area, if you look at the top few listings there, unless you're in a really rural area, if you're in a major metro city, major metro area, and you type in your keyword phrases, you will find that there is somebody that's consistently at the top. And chances are pretty high that they have selected a professional to manage that for them as opposed to trying to manage it on their own. Like if you type in Seafood Restaurant Chicago, you will find, that there are restaurants with hundreds and hundreds of reviews on there. And I guarantee you those restaurants aren't managing those places pages on their own. They actually are having help with that. So I always recommend getting professional help, especially if you're having trouble with your Google Places listing. Google Plus, Google Places, and Facebook. They're coming together, folks. Not together as ownership, but it all works together. So Google Plus. This is something new to folks. It's sort of like Facebook. It's not well used yet by the general consumer, but it's never too early to start so that you have built up a good following. Google Plus makes connecting on the web more like connecting in the real world. Share your thoughts, your links, and photos with the right circles. I won't go into a big dissertation on Google Plus because that's a whole in-service or a webinar in and of itself. But if you sign up for a Google account, or if you have Gmail already, you can sign up for a Google Plus account, and I would absolutely do that. And along with that, they have introduced pages for Google Plus. So now, just like Facebook business pages, you can now have a business page for Google Plus. Any of our clients that are in certain programs probably already have a Google Places page or a Google Plus page that connects with their Google Places page that is also connected to their Facebook page, and they don't even know it because we haven't had time to announce it yet, but we certainly are on top of this, and you should have a Google Plus page for business. It will reap 1,000 rewards down the line if you get this set up early and get set up right. So definitely do that. If you want your Places page to show up in the top 7 on a Google search, eventually the importance of Google Plus and Google pages for Plus pages for business is going to be really important too. Also, having a link from Facebook to your Google Plus business page is really important. So do all of those things. That was like clear as mud, I'm sure, but it is important. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about following up with leads, and then I'm going to go back through and show you a couple of things. So lead care and follow-up failure. Now, follow-up failure is something that I talk about a lot in my webinars because I think follow-up is so important. Your social media and internet efforts might be working. So if they are, and you're doing it all right, how to avoid follow-up failure. And this is a common theme, and I've said this before, but it happens all the time, and we need to eliminate this follow-up failure problem so that in 2012 your bottom line increases. A prospect calls the office, they're put into a database, they're mailed some information, or they speak to some knowledgeable person in the office, and they ask about pricing, and they say they'll call back in a few days after they've had time to review the materials. And they never call back. They have sticker shock because they had no idea how much senior services cost or how much anything in general would cost with relationship to that. They're going to try for 6 months to care for their aging loved one on their own because in this case, brother Joe got laid off, so he's going to take care of mom instead of hiring somebody, which we all know will go over like a lead balloon eventually, but they're going to try it out. The lead is lost in a sea of insanity in the office. This is what we call a follow-up failure, or a fail, as this young lady nicely points out. And here is what really happened. They never called back. They have sticker shock. They'll try for 6 months to do it as a family. The lead was lost in the sea of insanity in the office. However, another provider took the time to put that person on their e-newsletter list and sent them an invitation to connect to their blog, their Facebook business page, and more. And 6 months later, your competition is serving that client and has established trust, credibility, and rapport with the family. That is what really happens. So I talk about lead care not as a product, not as a service that we provide, just as a thought process that you should keep in mind. You need to take care of your leads just like you would take care of your current clients. Lead care, or caring for your leads, eliminates follow-up failure by involving the family in the online communication that your company provides. They're connected with you in an informative and friendly way. You grow your fan base, and you are there when their daughter, wife, sister, niece, daughter-in-law, or family needs you. So take care of your leads. And the same thing happens with referral partners. We forget about them. We don't put them on a list. We don't communicate with them on a regular basis. We think we're going to annoy them. And you might in some cases, but probably not. You need to connect everything you do offline, all the people you meet, all the things that you do, all the people you talk to on the phone. connect them with your online activities so that down the road in 6 months when they're ready to actually engage in that care service or that service that you provide, you're there for them. They've already connected with you. They see all the stuff that you put on Facebook. They see the e-newsletter that goes out. They're aware of you, and you're top of mind. So make sure referral partners and consumers are both taken care of when they're a lead. And that's what I call lead care. Okay, so I want to show you what happens when you go through all the things I just talked about. And when you do that, here are some of the results. And I just wanted to share this with you because I thought it was really super interesting. If you look at the top of my screen, this is actually the Google Analytics result for one of our clients. And I wanted to show you this in little bitty print up here. Oops, I didn't mean to change the screen. You see where it says April 30th, 2011 through July 31, 2011? This is the 90-day period of time prior to us coming on as a service provider for this client. And August 1 through November 1 is 90 days, the 90 days that we have been servicing this client. And you can see here that in the last 90 days, August 1 through November 1, they've had 5,919 visits. Previous to that, the previous 90 days, they had 24 visits. They've had 18,950 page views when we came on board. Previous to our arriving on the scene, they had 113 page views. So if you look at the difference between not really paying attention to your online strategy versus paying a whole lot of attention to your online strategy, this is just a small example of what the numbers can do and how they can change. Every time somebody visits this website, they have an opportunity to make that person into a lead. So it's a numbers game, and the more people that visit your site, the more opportunity you have to get them to turn into a client. Now, if you look at these little gray lines here, you can see one on 816, one on 915. There should be more gray lines in there, but those spikes that you see there are when their e-newsletter goes out. Now, their e-newsletter probably only goes out to about 400 people, but you can see a spike in their internet activity on those days. And you can also, if I could show you it, you would see a spike in their phone call activity on those days. So that means that when they follow up and they actually do the things that we've talked about here, they have Facebook working for them, they have an e-newsletter, they may be doing pay-per-click or may not be, but regardless, when they send out that e-newsletter, they actually get more traffic, more engagement, and more folks talking to them. It stirs people up and it gets them excited. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing all the things we talked about here today. I'm going to go back to one more thing because I want to go back to this and just show it to the folks that maybe have been here a little late. This is the same client in the same 90-day period as we tracked their phone calls. They had 5,900 visitors to their website. In the same 90-day period, they had 553 phone calls to their offices, and 112 of them were real leads. Now, for a large senior service provider in a big metro area, that's good because these are not, we're not talking about cheap services. They're not selling widgets, folks. They're selling some expensive senior care options, and most of you on this call are in the same boat. So this is what can happen when you've done your homework and you play your cards right. So let me go back to Q&A. George, I know you're there. You may be muted, but if you could unmute your line. Do you have anything I missed, any words of wisdom for 2012 that you know people should be doing that I didn't address? I think I got most of it, but anything you want to add?
You definitely covered a lot of ground. It is a good idea to, just like with everything else in your life, at the end of a year and the beginning of a new year, take a good overall look and set priorities, and sometimes change what you're doing. Change is hard, but it usually helps you find new things. And the kind of things that Valerie described here is what everybody should look at least in their current marketing programs.
Exactly. So with that, let's see here. Now, if you have questions or there's something I covered that you want to know more about, now is the time to ask. And I do have lots of questions here already, so I'm going to start going through them. but we'll run through them quick. So if you have questions, now's the time to type them in. Questions, comments, whatever you want. So first one, will you be sending a copy of the presentation? I will be sending the video replay through, it'll be posted on YouTube, and everybody will get a chance to see that. Let's see. Will you have this presentation available to view or print off later? We never give out our PowerPoints, but you will be able to see the video on YouTube. A question about video. Does the video have to be on the home page or the landing page? You know what, Kristen? If you have a video on a home page or landing page, that's really nice. You don't have to, but if you have one that really makes sense for your landing page, maybe it's a TV commercial, maybe it's a call to action, maybe it's something else. There's absolutely, that would be great. If you can't have it on your home page or your landing page, that's okay too, but really I'd rather have more videos on the whole than just try to have one on the home page. So the answer is yes, you should, but if you can't, just more is better. For videos, can you use others that have been done from someone else, for someone else? On video, if you can't do it yourself, you can do it. You can use there's some services out there where you can like rent a video or rent the rights to it, and you can put it on your page. Don't ever use one that has somebody else's phone number in it. That's not going to make your case, and it's not going to do you any good. If you're not going to do it right, just don't do it. That would be my first recommendation. Now, when I say do it right, that doesn't mean you have to have a professional videographer do a video. If you go to a service called Animoto.com, it's A-N-I-M-O-T-O, Animoto.com, you can create your own videos right there for free. So it's simple, it's easy, it's drag and drop. It takes a while to kind of learn it, but it's a good system. Okay, why would a business want to have multiple Facebook pages, and is this a best practice? Okay, in the case of one of our clients here, the reason they have multiple Facebook pages is because they have multiple locations. So each location, they have one main Facebook page, and each location in their metro area has its own Facebook page, because each location or each assisted living facility in this case might want to post pictures of a birthday party that's specific to their facility or their house. So they have different activities going on at each one of their locations. So a business on the whole does not have to have more than one Facebook page, but there are certain circumstances where that might be nice. Another reason that might be nice is if they're going to do a promotion that might end eventually. You can always have a different Facebook page for that promotion if you wanted to, so you could just turn it off. If you have a Facebook business page set up that's already attached to personal, is it better to separate it from the personal page? No. If you've done it the old way, which is the way we normally did it, or used to do it, and the business page is hooked up to a personal page, that's fine. Leave it alone. It's perfectly fine. What do you think is the best database tracking software to keep track of all of your referral contacts? That is the question of the century, Natalie. And one of the things that I would say is that, depends on the service that you provide. But on the other hand, we have tried Salesforce.com. We've tried Zoho. I know some people in the home care industry use Home Tracker. Right now, and there's a couple of others out there too that we haven't tried. Right now, Zoho seems to be the cheapest and, I guess, I wouldn't say easiest, but most manageable format. Depends on really how detailed you want to be, but Zoho is pretty good. It's Z-O-H-O. Let's see. Suggestion, join local human resource groups if you can to connect with HR people who could use you as a resource for their employees. Thank you, Ann Blanchard, for that tip. She said connect with local human resource groups, and I'm assuming she means on LinkedIn. Why not make LinkedIn with the organization versus personal? Cheryl, LinkedIn and social media is about being social, and so you need to create a personal account that has some professional information about you in there, and then from that you can create your company page, and you can use your company page as whatever, send people to your company page, but people don't want to connect with the company, they want to connect with you, Cheryl, so that's why you would want to make sure that your Facebook or your LinkedIn is a personal page. I want to talk to a human being. I don't want to talk to a logo. So that's kind of the rationale behind that. The Google Places is just what you find when you search on, for instance, Home Care Victoria. Dan, Google Places is the maps listing, the business listing with the maps on it. When you type in Home Care Victoria, you're going to find lots of natural results, but the ones that have the red teardrop next to them are the Google Places results. If you have a Google Plus account, should you set up a different one for your business? No, if you have a Google Plus account, you should set up from that Google Plus personal account, you should set up a Google Plus business page or Google Plus pages for business. And if you search around on Google for Google business pages, Google Plus business pages, you will come to a section where you can actually start that. What does a professionally managed SEO campaign cost? Well, Matt, SEO is not a campaign, sort of. It's to have something search engine optimized means that you have someone go in and make sure that everything matches all the good keywords that you would want, that you know people type in or that they research for you, that people type in to find your service or your business. So you can have all kinds of different costs associated with that. Depends on how big your website is. If you want a campaign, meaning a pay-per-click campaign, or you want blog posting, you want a natural campaign through content driving your website up and up and up in the ranks, all those things cost a different amount. And it would be crazy without knowing more about you and about your needs to quote a price on this webinar. But certainly if you would like to know more, you can get a hold of me or George at the end. In fact, I'll change the slide here so everybody can see it, and we'll help you with that. But I just don't have enough information. How do you combat negative reviews on Google? Well, it depends, Kelly, on what's going on there. You can answer those negative reviews with the owner of the listing can respond now to those negative reviews. You can flag them, you can report them, and if all else fails and you know that it's spam or you know that it's a competitor or whatever, you can do all kinds of different things there. But you can also ask your clients to put positive reviews up there and start burying those negative reviews over to page 2. So there's a lot of things you can do. The one that I wouldn't recommend, but that has happened when things are just too crazy, is that you just delete the listing altogether, suspend it, and create a new one. And that's not a valuable piece of advice. I wouldn't do that. I would try to correct it other ways first. Any value to making the glossy brochure available on the website for download? Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have your brochure for download. You just need to make sure that it's not a huge file. People don't want to wait for a huge file to download, so you need to have it, you need to make sure you can get it in a smaller file size in a PDF format, and that's okay to have on your website. Do you recommend advertising on Facebook? I do recommend it if you're doing it for a PR campaign or something specific. It's okay to do it on an ongoing basis, but it depends on your the kind of business you're in, what you're looking for, and what you expect from the results. If I knew all that, I could give you a better answer. Facebook advertising is a completely different animal from Google advertising. It can be less costly, but it also can prove to have less results if you don't know what you're doing or if it's the wrong demographic. Via LinkedIn, do you post discussion topics to groups, or do you post your latest status within the group's page? No, for LinkedIn, I post topics for discussion to groups. Will you be doing more on the reverse mortgage in reference to home health care business in the future? It's possible, but we probably don't have a big audience for that. Can you talk about the map that shows up on a Google search and little pins in the map corresponding listing of companies? Are these paid or natural SEO? Most of the time, Dan, those are natural Google Maps listings. Let's see. Do you have some websites and samples who has video within the website that we can review? Yes, Sandra, you can go to houston-homecare.com. So that would be houston-homecare altogether.com. houston-homecare.com. Do you have a price difference for facilities with 6 or less beds and those with 25 or more beds? Rondine, that depends on your needs more so than how many beds you have. So it's not based on size of the facility, it's based on the need, although we are very conscious of your budget. So we try to come up with something that fits your needs and your budget. I would suggest emailing or calling us and let George hear your story, and then he can help you kind of point you in the right direction. Do you have some examples of websites that we can actually go to that, in your opinion, are set up really well that we can view? Sure, we have tons of them. I will go to a whole list of them. If you go to myseniorservice.com, 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 you will see tons and tons of website examples that do exactly what they're supposed to do. So myseniorservice.com. What do you recommend using for listening to what is being said about your company? What do you recommend for using for listening to what is being said? Okay, so for reputation management, Dan, I would recommend just having, you can hire companies to do reputation management for you, to manage your Google Places, to alert you to anything that's, maybe not so nice, or so nice, very nice. So for reputation management, there's all kinds of companies you can hire out there. Basically, if you go do a Google search for your own company name in your local area and look at what's out there about your company, that would be helpful. Also, look at your Google Places listing, see what's out there. Look at Yelp, look at Facebook. What are people saying about you? You can do that. And you can also go online and go to, there's some places where you can go and type just in one search, and it'll bring up everything about your company that it can find. Is there a way to see more than 10 Google Places listings at a time? There is. You have to click underneath where underneath the Google Places listings it says see more listings, and you can or click on the word maps on the left-hand side of your screen when you do a Google search, and you will see as many listings as you want. We are posting video on our Facebook page, and we have a link to our Facebook on our website homepage. Will that help our organic search results? We're posting video on our Facebook page, and we have a link to our Facebook page on our website homepage. Will that help our organic search results? It should be just the opposite. You should definitely have a link from Facebook to your website, and you probably do. So that, in and of itself, will help your organic listings. Our franchise headquarters has realized the importance of interactive, customized website. What support or program do you have that will update the material for us in lieu of hiring a local firm to keep the info up to date and effective? Richard Burwanger. Hi, Richard. We do that for other franchises all the time. So if you want to talk to us about keeping your content on your franchise website up to date, just give George a holler on email or on the phone, and he will let you know what we do for other franchises to help them keep their websites up to date. Suggestions for setting up a site when you have compliance to deal with. I am an independent carrier agent for one LTC carrier. You just have to make sure everything goes through compliance, and whoever sets up your website should use as much of the verbiage from your corporate website as they can on your local website, so that when it goes to compliance, they'll be pleased, because most of the stuff that you posted there is really basically what they say. It's just that it has more of a local flair to it, so that people can find it locally. That would be my recommendation. We do that all the time in the reverse mortgage industry. You have to make sure everything is compliance approved when they go through a bank. So our websites have been through that scrutiny on the reverse mortgage side, so it's probably not too much different on the long-term care side. Okay, I think, no more questions. If this is the last call for questions, if anybody has any, and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I want to thank you all for being here on the presentation, and I'm going to send this out via email, so you will all have the replay, and I hope you all have a great holiday season. Our next webinar will be in January 2012. And we can't wait to start off the new year with many of you. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks, George. Thanks, everybody.